So, if I approach from an IOI, now, forced or not, so if I approach from a forced IOI or just an IOI of a girl, in the daytime, I would expect to get roughly 1 to 10, 1 in 15, 1 in 15 of those girls into my bed. Now, I thought through all the times I've done it over the years, and I think that's a pretty realistic estimate. It might even be slightly higher than that, but I don't know, 1 in 10, 1 in 15. Now, if you compare those results to other guys who do Daygame, my claimed results, in brackets, stand out like a sore thumb. Now, you can do a Google search for it yourself to compare the results. I'm sure you know who you have in mind. So, why is my brackets claimed approach delay ratio much higher? Well, for a start, note the careful equivocation at the start of what I said. I said if I approach from an IOI, forced or not. There's a massive difference right there. As I've outlined in a linked post, which you won't see because you're listening to the video, but there's a linked post which I've provided on the post. An IOI is almost like a secret handshake. The girl is signalling an interest in you. So bear in mind, I've been using this method, forced IOIs and IOIs, since I was 16 years old. I'm now 42 and I'll be 43 in November. A long, long time. My maths in my head, 26, nearly 27 years. So I have an advantage over virtually anybody else that tries to do it in this way, and I'll be able to make it work better than anyone else. Why? Because I fucking invented it, that's why. Right. So, here's some things I do. So when I'm out actively hunting, I have a bloodhound scent for IOIs. I never miss one. I used to point out IOIs from girls who were on a bus, in a separate building across the road, etc., that other guys would never spot. Literally across the road, I'd say, "Hey, up there in the window, she's having a good look at us, isn't she? She's an IOI," and they go, "Fuck me, yes, she is." So also the mindset of what an IOI means. So whereas a less experienced guy would see an IOI and misjudge its strength, for example, I won't. I know the strength of an IOI better than anyone else. Yeah, so good it's going to make your brain spin, your head spin. You see what I mean? Usually, I tend to approach off IOIs when I'm pretty sure it's a sure thing. So this naturally leads towards a much higher approach delay ratio. On the linked blog post, there's a excerpt from the Secret Society video product where I talk through the mindset of approaching off a forced IOI. A lot of you have seen it already, so I should continue. I've been forcing IOI since I was 16. There's a million ways to do it, which are dependent on state. Often a guy will try to force an IOI, for example, by doing his usual routine when he's out of state, and it will fall flat, and I won't do that. I'll do different kinds of forcing IOIs depending on the state I'm in, and of course, to a degree, you can get yourself into a better state by forcing IOIs, getting good reactions, and then kind of snowballing from there. But that's another post maybe. Furthermore, there are specific things I do when I approach that other guys do not, which I believe to lead to a higher approach delay ratio. This is often IOI or not. Here are some examples. Now I know how to bamboozle a girl quickly by brain fry. I've just spotted a spelling mistake on my post. That's going to have to be corrected very quickly. Fucking bamboozle. Right, anyway. What this means is that I can make a very powerful first impression, sexualize, again, not a real word, change that, and leave her an intrigue. It's why I never tend to stay in set for long periods. I want to leave a powerful impression, like a hurricane entering into her life. I want the intrigue. So I don't hang around for 5-10 minutes. Fuck that. I want to make a strong impression. Of course, the caveat to that is, unless I'm going to go on an Insta date and try and bang her there and then, you see. The linked post has also a video about brain fry, which you might have seen as well. Right. So, because of this, because I make a strong impression, brain fry, sexualize it, boom, like a hurricane, I'm more likely to get responses from feeler texts, and therefore more likely to get a date. Again, leading to a better approach to delay ratio. I also frame push hard in the interaction, so while some guys might misinterpret a bit of resistance, I will push through it, sometimes very strongly so, like in the Colombian girl video, right? I can read where a girl is at very well indeed. It doesn't need to be verbalized or signaled in any way. In the Secret Society video product, I liken it to being like the Michael Schumacher of a game. You bed girls that you were never supposed to bed. Also, my date delay ratio is also very, very high. I don't screw up a date. So if I get a girl on a date, I can tell whether to push on the first date or hang around and wait for the second or third dates. I've been putting out some content recently on the site mostly, but yes, it's on the site, about becoming a more well-rounded guy. This is a big part of it, right? This is what people don't mention. They've got the techniques and the tactics. Do this, do that, a big part of it is being a well-rounded guy. It's having something to talk about. It's having a personality. It's having passion, vivacity, thinking quickly, talking quickly, being amusing, this kind of thing, right? There's a quote from Isaac Asimov. I'm going off script here, but there's a quote from Isaac Asimov in the Foundation series where Harry Seldon said, "All knowledge is useful." Now, a lot of guys would think all knowledge is useful. Well, surely a lot of it's just like a big brain dump. No, it's not. You see, if you read a lot and you think a lot about things and you're intellectually curious, again, this is a new post on my site, then you never know when that information is going to mesh together with something else you might have seen a year ago, and all of a sudden, bang, you've got a new idea. You've got a new humorous way of putting things when you speak to a girl. You've got a new humorous cold read. You've got a new story to tell her to make her laugh. This all comes across when you go on your dates. It's what I mean by being a well-rounded guy with a personality, a sorted, grounded guy, you see? It's all very, very important, so it's not just about techniques. So also read that post when you go to the site as well. It's called Intellectual Curiosity. Right, so as a result, on the dates, high date-to-delay ratio will lead to a high approach-delay ratio, by definition, because if she comes on a date, I approached her and therefore my ratio is high, you see? So there have been some exceptions over the years, of course. Sometimes I've been on 2 or 3 dates with different girls and it's gone nowhere, sometimes more, But overall, the ratio is very high. Another reason why I have a relatively higher approach delay ratio is because I have time, right? So I don't really do the short Euro jaunts. I often stay for months on end, meaning I have time to capitalize on leads. Now that's a big thing too, of course, So my best documented approach delay ratio. Now I could be lying through my teeth. I'm not, but I could be. But there's been examples over the years where people have seen me do this, and I've posted some stuff about it. So I once approached 6 girls in the daytime on Oxford Street in London. I think this was about 2013 and 14. This was in one day, by the way. One was a 5'11" ex-fashion model from Latvia. Another was a 5'9" black girl who worked in a beauty store. Both very nice-looking girls. There were some guys from the LSS forum who saw me do this. One was an Asian guy called Raf. I don't want to give his full name. He might even be reading this. I know he did before, and he actually emailed me once. This guy's a big lad, 6'2", army lad from the north. Sounds like anyone you know? Really like that guy. Very cool guy. By the way, if you're listening, email me. And I did reply to your last email, and I called you a big fat puff. Another was an Asian guy called Neil. In fact, it was Neil who recommended I approach the ex-fashion model because she is, quote, fucking hot. This guy used to live with Yad. I banged them both over the next 2 days, so the black girl was from the same delay and the former fashion model was the next day. Both were posted on the LSS forum with picture proof before it got taken down. Some of you reading this might even remember it. Some of you reading this, some of you listening to this, / reading it if you go and read the post, might even remember it. I once approached 6 women in Tiger in London in one night and banged 4 of them in the next 6 days. Again, this was posted on the LSS forum and again with pictures. That was yonks ago, though, to be honest. But anyway, I did it. Nick Krauser has seen me do a lot of good stuff over the years, as has Bodie, as has Richard Larawina, as has Eddie from Street Attraction. Eddie last year in Kiev, if I remember correctly, and a bunch of other guys. One of the guys in Kiev last year even followed me down the street and took pictures of the girl I was with, very cheeky bastard, and later posted about it on Nick Krauser's blog. Lol. Another good guy, by the way, US Army. So you can judge for yourself, but I don't lie. Now, for balance, my worst approach delay ratio. First off, I would mention that I've had long periods where I do absolutely nothing, especially in the last 5 to 6 years. Basically since I started this. But it's true. It is true. I've not been shy in talking about this. It was 95% due to extreme worry about money. Only my really good friends know how badly this has affected me, but believe me, it's been really fucking bad, and it's been bad enough, believe me. So bad it would make your head spin. Believe me, right? As a result, I've had periods of 6 months without a single approach. I've not even bothered with Tinder. The longest I've ever been without shagging a new girl is about 6 months. I've had stretches of months on end without approaching. At my lowest ebb, I approached 30 women in the daytime in Budapest, and got not one date, not one lay, not even a kiss on the goddamn cheek. My worst ever approach delay ratio. Worst ever, man. It made my head spin. I just collapsed on the floor. Collapsed in a heap. Bear in mind, I usually made up for this using sites like Seeking Arrangement, especially in London. I had that working really well for me. I once shagged 3 in 1 week, all hot, without paying, of course. And again, Nick Krauser saw this. Now, he wasn't actually parked outside my fucking door, but he knew about it and he saw pictures of all the girls, if I recall. Now, I was living in Chiswick at the time, in an absolute fucking shithole. It's one of those Guardian places. But I had my own place, but believe me, it was fucking awful. Anyway, if I had a better pad, the results from that site would have been much higher. I had a really good system going. Now, you just think about that. It is rather ridiculous when you think about it. So a girl goes on Seek an Arrangement, looking for a rich older dude. You know, I pop up. Sometimes I email them or whatever, you know, I pop up, say, yeah, let's go out on a date. By the way, I don't do the Seek an Arrangement. Oh, all right, we'll go out on a date, you know. They go out, they have a great time, you know, and then they get taken home to this squalid shithole Guardian fucking apartment, like an hour away in Chiswick, promptly get bonked and then sent on the last district line home. That's charming. It wasn't always as bad as that, but it was kind of like that. But it's quite an amusing thought when you think about it. Real high roller there. Anyway, I also did from that site 2 in 2 days in Marbella from Seek an Arrangement, and there were only about 20 girls on there. Again, lol. And then this one, yes, big juicy ass, big tits, and very nice. And that was one I posted about. And I featured on Britain's Biggest Sexist for this one with my arse, my pale spotty arse, with hairs on it looking like the road map of the Amazon rainforest. It was that disgusting. That featured me on Britain's Biggest Sexist, my claim to fame. Oh, and I did 4 in 1 week from that site in Malaga last winter. At that time, I had clap from my Thailand trip with Nick Krauser, so I couldn't get it up for one of the girls. In fact, truth be told, there were 2. I once got it up for one, and I couldn't get it up next time, and she kept messaging me. She wanted to fuck, but I couldn't because I was like, listen, I've got a fucking problem here. And with the Spanish medical system, it took me ages to get rid of that fucking thing. It was nasty as fuck. Anyway, so approach to lay ratio from cold approaches, pure cold approaches without a forced IOI. That was a long time ago when I mentioned that, but this is from pure cold approaches. This is where the numbers change. I'd estimate I'd manage to achieve an approach to lay ratio of about 1 in 20 to 1 in 25. Now this is without an IOI, so just approaching pure cold. I'm less sure of these numbers, to be honest. I'm kind of pulling them out of my hairy roadmap of Brazil Amazon rainforest ass. There's a good chance the approach to lay ratio is higher, or even lower. Am I lying? Who knows? Other factors that influence the approach to lay ratio. Do you see how many times I've used that keyword? Isn't it great? I'd expect the ratio to be way higher from nightclubs. Over the years in other countries, I'd expect to get 1 in 6 to 1 in 8 girls from a nightclub approach. Why is it higher? Well, the girl is going to the nightclub knowing men will approach her, knowing she's going to get railed, she's going to get banged, right? I tend to only go to nightclubs if I know they're good. If there are hot girls around in a nightclub and it's not inimical, i.e. not full of men, I hit state and really switch on and go into full beast mode, otherwise known as the vortex, as coined and outlined in my book, Primal Seduction. Buy it now, it's on my site. Is it possible to replicate this approach to lay ratio as a nearly 43-year-old man? Obviously, I'm talking about myself again. But what I'm saying is this. I'm pretty sure the answer is yes. My journey continues. It will be interesting to see how it all pans out, smiley face. Well, that's the end of the post. The linked post is below in the description of this video. I hope you can see that I do things rather differently to other guys. Keep your eyes open for yourself and see if you can spot that other guys are moving more towards forcing IOIs, approaching off IOIs, and the other concepts I talk about on this website and on my YouTube channel and on my 2 products. Buy them. I do recommend you check out my products, Secret Society and Primal Seduction. It's all broken down there in great detail. At the very least, I'd expect you to cut down on the drudgery of approaching and getting rejected time after time. Learn how to sexualize right from the start and actually read where the girl is at so you know what to do next. You know what I'm doing here, right? Now, the link post is in the description below. Read it. Have a look at the pictures. Nice juicy tits, nice big ass, nice video playing with a pussy. Lots more information on there. Look at the link videos, you might not have seen them before. I'm off, my hands are sweating, and I need to go and have a poo. I'll speak to you soon.